Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to join us today. The meeting will be conducted in English. If you need the subtitle, you can click the CC button below the Google Meet. I'm Lin Guanyu from Donghua Credit Union, Taiwan, and I will be your host and moderator for this meeting today. I truly appreciate you saving your time for us and sincerely welcome each one of you for joining us today. Before we start, I would like to welcome the chairman of Donghua Credit Union to address this meeting, and I will be the translator.
OK， 联合国妇女地位委员会，还有内政部核团司及各位关注合作事业及妇女议题的伙伴，大家好，我是这次主办单位东华校园储蓄互助社的理事长薛伟霆。那很高兴东华校园储蓄互助社有幸主办这场活动。
Hello everyone, I welcome the 60th Annual Commission on the Status of Women, the Department of Cooperatives and Organization of the Ministry of the Interior, and all partners who are concerned about cooperative enterprise and women's issue. I'm Xue Weiting, the chairman of Donghua Campus Credit Union. I'm very happy that Donghua Campus Credit Union has the honor of hosting this event.
东华校园储蓄互助社成立至今7年多，那主要关注在青年的经济困境与金融素养的培力上。我们透过周转借贷的方式，协助青年学子度过难关。过往我们比较多聚焦在青年群体，那未来也希望关注在妇女议题。
I would like to give you all a brief introduction about our credit union. Donghua Campus Credit Union was established 7 years ago. It mainly focused on the economic hardship of young people and the cultivation of financial literacy. We help college students overcome difficulties through turnaround method. In the past, we mostly focused on youth group, and we wanted to start paying attention to women's issue in the future.
很幸运的，我们有位长期关注妇女议题及合作事业议题的社员林冠宇，那他让我们意识到合作事业与妇女议题之间其实有更多协力的可能，然后也促成了这场活动的举办。
Fortunately, we have a member, Lin Guanyu, who has been paying attention to women's issues and cooperative issues for a long time. She made us realize that there are many collaboration possibilities between cooperative enterprise and women's issue. The possibility of mutual cooperation has also contributed to the holding of this event.
因此期盼今天这场活动能让从事合作事业或妇女议题工作的伙伴们能够互相认识、理解，然后也期待透过各国的实务案例、经验分享，让我们找到合作的可能。那最后很高兴今天能跟各位共同学习与交流，希望彼此都能有所收获成长。谢谢。
Therefore, we hope that today's event will allow partners who are engaging in cooperative and women's issue to know and understand each other's work. We also hope that through the sharing of practical experience from various countries, we can find a possibility of cooperation among each other. I'm very happy to learn and communicate with you. I hope that everyone can gain something today. Thank you. With thanks to Weiting's brief introduction of Donghua Campus Credit Union, you may wonder how did we come up with this event? The Commission of Status Women aims to discuss how to support economically disadvantaged women this year, in addition to the external factors of unequal voice and gender power in the society. The heavy burden of family care is mostly borne by women, and who are in a dilemma of time fragmentation and difficulties in personal development and capital accumulation, need to be empowered by the economy and have equal opportunity to use and dispose of economic resources. A cooperative organization that dismantled labor-employer relations and put worker at the core of development is another possibility to challenge the capital economy. We believe that when economic development returns to the need of human beings, women can gain the mobility to turn their lives around. Here we come to the topic of thriving together, empower women through cooperative. In Taiwan, cooperative enterprise mainly consists of credit union, consumer cooperatives, industrial cooperatives, and agricultural cooperatives. Through different cooperative industries, we can brainstorm together how to support women in various ways. And I post the Slido link in the message in the chat box, and you can write down your question in the Slido if you have any question during the meeting, and we will invite the speaker to answer accordingly. And I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Nadati Azad from India. She is the president of Indian Cooperative Network for Women and Working Women Forum, which works for women in rural area. She was the first woman to serve on the board of directors of the International Revolution Union in the last 50 years and received the Lifetime Award for Social Achievement from the Society of India in Chennai. Let's welcome Dr. Nadati Azad.
Namaste. Namaste in Hindi.
Namaste.
Can you hear me? Namaste means welcome. Yeah. And also, thank you very much, both of that together, as we do in Asia. Yeah. The topic today, for me, given is the importance of cooperatives for rural women, policy mechanisms with international views, and the practical experience in India. And the topic has been changing many times, primarily not because women are changing our minds, but we have so much to say that we keep on evolving as we are doing better collaboration. So I'm very grateful that you could give the chance for us and me to do the keynote address today. And I'm particularly grateful that your organization and Madam Liu from the Donghua University and the Donghua Credit Union campus in Taiwan has kindly asked me and us about this. So it is a great honor for me to present before you on behalf of the Indian Cooperative Network for Women and as president of the Working Women's Forum India. And I was very grateful that they could give poor women's organization like us with 600,000 women, very poor women entrepreneurs, the chance to be elected the first global board member of the oldest cooperative union in the world, the International Raiffeisen Union in Germany. And now this year they re-elected me. I'm very grateful to them that you know, it's a very poor women's organization in front of big Raiffeisen, Rabo banks and all of that. So they valued our merit. They valued our system. Thank you. I'm also the WFO coordinator of the working group on cooperatives. And such a distinguished gathering today as a parallel event we have from New York. In the last 4 years, we have organized or associated with many such global events. We thank the UN Commission on Status of Women, NY, headquarters profusely for their honor and the trust as UN consultative members of 28 years. The Working Women's Forum and Indian Cooperative Network for Women. Here's the map of South India. We have about 14 branches headquartered in Chennai and are leading the way in empowering, particularly in Asia in the informal sector. We have 620,000 members across 4 states in South India, namely Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. We find the Taiwanese in many of these locations. We are successfully marching towards half a century of service to poor women through the models. I feel proud to share with you that our members are engaged in 267 occupations, particularly in services, trading, petty production, and manufacturing. Through this model, we have disbursed approximately 500 crore rupees in petty loans, approximately $5 billion with a high repayment rate. They represent a convergence of class, gender, and caste, making the challenging social conditions that are untenable. But our grassroots women have demonstrated that they can cope and recover from any shock or disaster, COVID, floods, tsunami, through our iconic gender and equity model. Our outcomes have been developed within the context of SDGs. We are nearly in 10 SDGs. Our work. Our members are not just surviving, but thriving. And they are leading the charge for gender equity and social justice. We'd like to welcome the Donha Credit Union into this whole network. I stand before you today with not only a message of hope and opportunity, but for cohesive collaboration in cooperative sectors between India and Taiwan. It is high time we work together for growth and prosperity, giving greater attention to gender equality. I also welcome the Hong Kong stakeholders to this event. Women in cooperatives. Through cooperatives, millions of women today in Asia and Pacific have access to social protection, housing, health, and childcare, financial services. Cooperatives are democratic, voluntary, ideal mechanisms for building gender equality. Only when women have equal access, including decision-making. Cooperatives facilitate women's mobilization, collective bargaining, productive assets, land, credit, labor, training, wages, technology, markets. Gender is more than a statistic. I had the opportunity, my Asian sisters, to tell you that I did the pioneering study of 26 countries in Asia on the status of women in cooperatives in the Asia-Pacific region. I conducted with interesting data, facts, and case studies. This I presented to the International Cooperative Alliance Asia-Pacific Cooperative Ministers Conference in Hanoi, recommending the historic 33% women's reservation at all levels of mixed cooperatives. That was accepted. The study mirrored the challenges and limitations of being Asian and Asian women, Asia-Pacific women, tempered by patriarchal tendencies, which are really overarching and do not help the productivity of women in most of these countries. Yet it highlighted that strong women's social people's movements like you all and us, and engendered by far-reaching government policies and laws, both our countries, that spur women's participation in cooperatives, especially as Asia is now the epicenter of the economy, not only the West. What was the study findings?
Sorry, Dr. Azad, your pop slides is still the first slide. It didn't move.
Thank you for telling us.
Thank you.
Is it okay? Can I come back? Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Can we go on?
Yes.
Okay. While we found out in the study that while women's representation in cooperatives at higher echelons is not significant at decision-making levels, new trends, decisions, issues indicate new threshold of women for women. Can you believe it? That hardly 10% women on cooperative boards in the region over a decade or 2 decades. This was the finding of my study, which I presented to the Cooperative Ministers Conference in Asia and Pacific. But today we see that people like you and people like us, that international awareness, gender networking, conventions in cooperatives, and success of new age women-only cooperatives like us that are trendsetters, and that also poor women, not educated women, who are doing local level, rural skills and urban skills. So we see that there is emerging leadership space for women in a very structurally difficult and culturally complex, I must say, patriarchy, that we have still seen the way forward with possibilities for women. What is the Indian cooperative history and movement? India, the land of diversity, culture, and innovation, has risen to become the 5th largest economy in the world. We are heading towards making India a developed country by 2047. A clarion call has been given by our Prime Minister to achieve the goal of developed India by 2047. That is 100 years of our independence. Both India and Taiwan have strong economies. Taiwan has made significant investment in sectors such as electronics, manufacturing, and information technology in India. While Taiwanese companies have established a presence in India, contributing to economic growth and employment generation. Culturally also, there have been exchanges between India and Taiwan, academic collaborations, cultural performance, and people-to-people interactions. We need to enhance our understanding and promote cooperatives with a greater goal of gender equality. Taiwan, we are well aware that Taiwan has a highly developed capitalist economy and is one of the 4 Asian tigers, along with Hong Kong, Singapore, and South Korea. Congratulations. The Taiwanese government plays a significant role in economic planning and development through policies encouraging innovation, entrepreneurship, and trade. Cooperative societies play a role in various sectors of Taiwan's economy: agriculture, consumer goods, and finances. These cooperatives are typically formed by individuals or businesses with similar interests or goals to pool their resources, share risks, collectively pursue economic activities. And they emphasize principles of cooperatives such as democratic control, voluntary membership, and equitable distribution of profits. Taiwan has made significant progress in promoting gender equality and empowering women in various spheres of society. Women in Taiwan have access to education and employment opportunities on par with men. The government has implemented policies to support women's participation in the workforce. Despite these challenges, challenges such as gender pay gaps and underrepresentation in leadership positions all over Asia persist, reflecting broader societal norms and cultural expectations, again, patriarchy. In the cooperative sector, India and Taiwan can collaborate to make efforts to promote greater gender equality. Let me outline some salient features of the Indian cooperative movement. The Indian cooperative movement has played a significant role in the country's economic and social development, originating from principles of self-help and mutual support. It has evolved into a large network. The genesis of the India's cooperative movement can be traced back in the early 20th century, influenced by England and Germany. The enactment of the Cooperative Credit Societies Act in 1904 marked a turning point nearly 100 years ago, aiming to promote thrift amongst among rural peasants, women, and artisans. Since then, the movement has grown exponentially with over 0.6 million individual cooperatives, serving more than 240 million all over the country. The Raiffeisen model of cooperatives, father of cooperatives, of which I have become the first woman in the world to be part of their global board, a great honor. This was very important to India cooperatives because of self-help, self-governance, and self-responsibility. Raiffeisen's ideology of combating poverty through empowerment resonated strongly in India, where poverty and dependency were widespread then. So the 3S formula became the cornerstone of Indian cooperatives. India's adoption of the Raiffeisen type cooperative set a precedent in the global cooperative movement, attracting attention and emulation worldwide. The cooperative system in India, built on principles of self-management and self-financing, served as a model for cooperative initiatives in other countries. You can see me as the only woman among all the very high-level and rich cooperatives of Europe. What a proud moment for many of our poor women members. In 1912, the original act was replaced by the Cooperative Societies Act, aiming at societies dealing not only with credit, but also with insurance and various specialized functions. Cooperative banks were established at the several levels. Self-financing and self-governance supported the movement's growth. Indian freedom fighters like Mahatma Gandhi, Mr. Vaikom Mehta, later Mr. Imamdar, advocacy for cooperative prayers. So it became part of the freedom movement also. So the cooperative freedom, the self-governance at the village level, very similar to your countries too. Post-independence, the Indian government recognized cooperative's potential in rural development and poverty alleviation, leading to the formulation of several acts. The Cooperative Societies Act of 1961 gave a legal framework like the National Dairy Development Board. Milk in India, the biggest cooperative name is women. These are the people in the NDDB and the National Cooperative Union of India were established to promote cooperative. In 1975, you had the Decade for Women. Only then the world started giving attention to women, which is the truth actually, especially grassroots women's initiatives and cooperatives. So on this International Women's Year, that is around the time we were established. So women too were able to actively participate in cooperatives, a concept almost rare until the 70s. And government started giving attention to women also as part of the growth process. International and other agencies also understood that unless half the population is given attention, development programs will not be successful or national development targets will be upset. Women's cooperative societies and banks play a very crucial role in promoting gender equality and economic empowerment in India. These are governed entirely or partially by women. Like ours is a women's only cooperative. We don't have any men. Men cannot walk in easily. So though we have so many members, even the husbands, we don't ask their name. We don't put their name on the form. We don't need their guarantee for loans. So therefore, we try to sensitize them to the fact that women, or sometimes there is a struggle and challenge whenever there's gender violence, both in urban and rural areas. We are one of the cooperatives in the world who are focusing on a microfinance product in gender violence as a microfinance product, that both of them have to go hand in hand. While attempts were made to address women's credit needs through nationalized banks, it did not work very well. So women's cooperatives and banks have emerged as a reliable financial institutions. Overcoming initial skepticism, the former were not mechanisms to service poor women in the traditional cultures. Poor women felt very uncomfortable going and talking to educated, middle class, and people with suits, etc., etc. Many of the fisherwomen, the vegetable women, etc. But now these banks are also aiming to encourage women's entrepreneurship and creative endeavors, contributing to the thing. We now have a new national cooperative policy this year, and this has been already announced, and this is a very good way of realizing the vision of cooperatives as having immense potential to drive socio-economic development goals. This marks a significant step in our whole thing, and the rich cooperative heritage that India has, and a robust economy. So the initiative aims to provide a dedicated administrative, legal, and policy framework to the whole cooperative sector, the cooperative policy, and to elevate the cooperative sector in the country's socio-economic development. Governed by the respective state Cooperative Societies Act, each of our federal states, 21, 22, have state cooperative societies, and multi-state cooperative societies, as we are the very important form of cooperatives in various sectors across the country. The Ministry of Cooperation has implemented numerous initiatives to enhance the ease of doing business in the last two budgets, and also deepen the grassroots outreach. We have the Primary Agriculture Credit Society, PACs. These PACs are the bottom line for the government. We've had the computerization of the PACs because that will help. Like for us, we've been computerized and digitalized software 20 years ago, and poor women labor, poor women fishermen have been sitting at the computers. So we are very transparent and accountable. Then the development of model bylaws, facilitating PACs to like a common service center at the village level, where they can all the other things, whether it's public distribution or loaning or marketing or getting the fertilizers, etc. Now we have the creation of a national database. Under the visionary leadership of our Prime Minister and the direction of the Honorable Cooperation Minister, India embarks on a transformative journey towards realizing the vision of prosperity through cooperation. Central to this is the National Cooperation Policy. Meanwhile, we've had many amendments to the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act. That's certainly a transformative step. Particularly, it's a significant milestone with governance excellence within MCS. There were some challenges. First of all, they put 2 women on the primary societies because of our struggle. We said every primary society in this country, we went to court, that every must have at least a minimum representation. So they gave us 2, we will be aiming for 50%. By incorporating constitutional amendments and bolstering governance, transparency, and accountability, this legislation sets the stage for enhanced efficacy. The Act has come into play 2023, the amendments to the Multi-State Act. Key provisions include the better registration process, also incorporating the 97th Amendment that strengthens the governance, transparency, and accountability. There is, for the authority composition of the board, qualifications and tenure guidelines, transparent election procedures where 2 members of the government will supervise it. Detailed procedures for election management, detailed procedures, upholding integrity of electoral process, ensuring transparency, democratic governance. This time it has been very, very tight. Financial stability measures, regulatory oversight, grievance redressal, including an ombudsman for cooperatives and in the Act. State and district level committees, the constitution of these, facilitate coordination, collaboration, and policy implementation, because you see, in each state, they can have their own state act. So when it comes to that, there needs to be a dialogue to sort out the many issues that come out. And therefore, these are very, very useful. And you have the multi-stakeholders, including the government, the tripartites, the corporates, all. And we have now 3 pioneering multi-state societies in a move towards economic empowerment. The Indian government has established. This is the National Cooperative Exports Limited, Bharatiya Beej Sahkari Samiti, that is the seed. That is the seed cooperatives, and the National Cooperative for Organics. Other reforms include in the income tax laws under the new national policy, signify a significant step towards fostering growth, reducing financial burdens. These reforms under the Honorable Prime Minister and the Cooperation Minister aim to empower the cooperative societies to stimulate the economic expansion. Also, reduction in minimum alternate tax from 18.5 to 5%, 15% for cooperative societies, aligns their tax obligation with those of companies, of corporates, fostering a level playing field and promoting the expansion of cooperative enterprises. Also, the cash limit of cash loans, and all of these things which had put us into a step-sisterly category. Now we are able to go on so that we can move towards being, as successful as the corporates in the economy. And also providing greater flexibility in financial dealings. This provision enhances the efficiency and effectiveness of cooperative banking institutions, taking them to the grassroots level. The tax cut for new manufacturing cooperative societies entailing a flat rate of 15% incentivizes the establishment of new cooperatives. The Office of the Central Registrar has computerized, enhancing efficiency and transparency, expediting service delivery. The new policy, national policy, aims to strengthen the 8.5 lakh cooperative movement in the country and promote cooperative-based economic development, backed by a legal institutional framework. The policy focuses on vibrant economic cooperatives, modernize them through technology, expanding into export markets, and providing incentives and capital fusion. Cooperatives play a vital role in achieving the SDGs. And for us here, particularly women's empowerment as well as economic empowerment, taking them out of poverty also. So I think as far as our cooperatives concerned, whether it's self-help, equality, democratic control, we nearly out 3/4 of the SDGs we are working with. This can increase women's access to resources and economic opportunities. Let me come to the topic of today, the Indian Cooperative Network for Women, established in 1981 by the Working Women's Forum India, a partner, empowering poor women through cooperatives. And we give financial assistance and other training, capacity building, etc. The ICNW, particularly ICNW, provides financial assistance for women in the informal sector, challenging structural poverty and transforming labor into capital. Through collective action, women in ICNW demonstrated their capacity to shape their destinies, fight poverty, and enhance growth. For example, they refused to allow us to register as multi-state cooperative. So we could not be only in Tamil Nadu, our state. We were working in 4 states. So we took a procession of 20,000 women to the local governor, gave a petition, and we became a multi-state cooperative. So we don't use only one strategy. It can be the strategy of the street, it can be the strategy of research or advocacy like this, and it can be, and mostly is at the grassroots level, empowering women to take charge of their communities. Now, through collective action, women demonstrated their capacity. We have inspired global admiration and serve as a model for excellent job creation and poverty alleviation of very poor women, who are really people who started from $5, today are taking 1,000, and they've built houses. They've educated their children, women, into engineers and doctors. And of course, they have 1 or 2 or 3 business. So therefore, this is what we call sustainable job creation and out of poverty. By promoting women's cooperatives, ICNW fosters economic security and empowerment, addressing the gender gap. Next. The WWF in India is dedicated to empowering women, particularly those from marginalized backgrounds, through ensuring financial inclusion to poor women micro-entrepreneurs, organization women through credit groups. Most of our groups are credit groups. Continuous loaning goes on. Even during COVID, we were continuously loaning. And that is the reason why we're not doing as badly as others. counseling them, mentoring them, training in empowerment, gender awareness skills, insurance, now digital literacy, savings, market linkages, rights-based capacity building, not forgetting for a minute that we are women. In a difficult Asian environment and Asian societies. Digital financial literacy, during our time, we have devised a digital financial literacy for staff members in regional languages, Asia Pacific workshop with JCCU, one of the big leaders in Japan, a training of trainers for 65 women leaders, well capacitated, that is revolutioning our operations, participating actively in digital literacy training. Their approach emphasizes the practical application of knowledge. We do it in the local language, not English. That's not useful. So to translate all those technical terms was a little difficult. Gained through field level, participatory and innovative methodologies, facilitated by women leaders, trainees. So everything is women, from target group leaders, organizers, and supervisors. These workshops, our training workshops, cover cooperative consciousness, rights, laws, financial literacy, climate change, digital literacy, women's healthcare with a focus on empowering women. A gender-based violence product, that's my own forte. Finance is another unique. What's the use of giving her a better income if there's gender violence at home? So therefore, we feel this combination has to be worked out at every level. What are our other services? That is healthcare training, maternal and child care, nutrition and family planning, recognizing the link between family size. We have huge populations and economic stability. We also offer skill training. Most of our industries, weaving, handicrafts, and agriculture, are involved aiming to enhance their income generating and growth potential. Ladies, gentlemen, let me tell you, women have got 4 roles. We have to look at services in reproduction, in production, community level, leadership, and all of that. That is why we must, as women's cooperatives, concentrate on that. Most of our work is in microfinance. As I said, we have given out about $5 billion in petty loans, very small loans, $10 earlier, now $500. That is very big for us. And we also have micro, as far as insurance, social security, and safety net programs, because we don't have an insurance program in India. These programs cover maternity, disability, and disaster relief, enhancing the overall well-being and security of the members. Through these comprehensive training and empowerment programs, WW strives to equip women with knowledge skills, providing them livelihoods. The success stories are many that need to be highlighted. Taiwanese women's cooperatives can learn from our best practices and policies while we do so from theirs. In recent years, the Indian government has introduced several reforms in the cooperative sector. I have been engaged with this movement since my 30s, when I trained fisherwomen on the coast of Tanjore in creative leadership training, and I've seen firsthand the transformative power of this model in the lives of these poor women. Friends, I have many stories to tell, but due to time constraints, I would share with you one, which will explain to you how the cooperative movement can change the world and what needs to be done at policy levels to scale it up. I want to share with you the success story of a random woman called Padmavati. She was just one of the many women I had a privilege to train. And through her journey, we can see the power of the gender and equity asset creation. Before joining the ICNW, Padmavati was having a very bad time in terms of starvation. Unfortunately, her story is a common one, because we have 75% of full-time workers in agriculture are women, yet less than 8% of women farmers own land in India. I'm sure in many parts of Asia. Through gender sensitization and credit, the ICNW empowers women to confront patriarchy and provides them with tools to create assets and entrepreneurial opportunities that promote gender equity. The example, land, livestock credit. Padmavati met with our people, got a loan of 1,400 rupees. With a second loan of 3,000, she bought a bullock. With her second loan of 3,000, the bullock she bought, she plied it out as wage and created an ascent. She became full of status in the village. She used her third loan of 7,000 to buy another bullock, rented it out and continued as a wage worker. With her fifth loan, she bought a single wooden furrow, which is very good for turning the soil, topsoil. And she received rupees 500 per day for wage work in the field and 1,000 from renting. Became rich. With savings from a profit, she leased a piece of land. A piece of land for women is the most important thing. Later, in her 7th loan cycle of 50,000, she bought 5 cents of farmland with her spouse and raised cereals, grains, and vegetables. We promote traditional methods of organic manure, such as compost pits, which provide a second income for farmers by utilizing animals. Vermicompost is also another technique we use. The ICN leadership training, Padmavati became aware of questioning her husband about the market price and profit. As the land was in her name, producer ownership, and he refused to divulge the price details to her. She began making decisions on crop selection, selling the produce herself, and carrying it in her bullock cart, operating her business and making profits. Multi-strategies of the organization have led 38% of ICN members procuring land titles in their land, the biggest thing for poor women, the asset, empowering them to have a greater say in decision-making and transforming landless world, turning women into landowners. ICNW's gender awareness and leadership training on women's social, economic, and legal rights have empowered women to become local community leaders rather than merely enhancing cooperative earnings or their own profits. Padmavati educated her children well and encouraged her son to. Now her entire family is engaged in family farming. With her 15 loan cycle, she bought a quarter-acre plot of land worth rupees 50,000, thus creating another asset. With her 17th loan and the profits from selling vegetables and the whole family working on yogurt, agriculture waste for additional income, she increased her bargaining power and helped them to diversify the market. Why am I telling this story? Simply because Padmavati's story is a testament to the power of gender equity and asset creation. Asset creation and gender equity. Give them the opportunity and they will be there. And that's what Asian women need. It shows us what is possible when we invest in women and give them the tools they need to succeed. So it is a model that we can replicate in communities around the world to build a better model. One more interesting dimension in the case of Padma demonstrates that the WW of ICNW, accumulation at the base, accumulating capital at the base is in 4 stages. First, she received financial support and education on poverty, causes, and myths. She needs to know the analysis why she's poor. Not because she's lazy, because she has no opportunities. And that is what the secured income and economies. Then she diversified her enterprises and improved her family's food security and quality of life, created assets and improved education, sanitation, housing. Finally, the model empowered poor women like Padmavati to become leaders and decision makers in the communities, getting on to the village councils, putting the most vulnerable first. Today, many poor fish and fruit sellers are key office bearers of cooperative entities like ours, thanks to this model. Padmavati is not a standalone case. Let me narrate the short tale of Saroja, a case of a widow, a marginal farmer from Kanjipuram, decided to start a poultry farm on her land from savings. However, a poultry business suffered heavy losses due to market imperfections. We have had the traumatic experience of the pandemic, and it was a death blow to Saroja, who was witnessing cascading profits. The gender and equity model of WWF-ICNW Cooperative helps women in the informal sector access finance, capacity building, and institutional support apart from land. Marginal farmers like Padmavati and widow Saroja have been able to start successful poultry farms and other micro enterprises with the help of the cooperative. The WWF-ICNW Cooperative has members from different marches in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. In one instance during the pandemic, it's very nice to know that they broke when the supply chain broke, they created their own supply chain. A group of 5 fisherwomen, the auctioneer, and the exploiters were not allowing them to function during the pandemic. They brought their own assets. They brought their own boats. They brought their own nets for whom? For their husbands. And eliminated the middlemen and started control of the auctioneers and the auction. And this is how they, during the pandemic, when other people were unable to cash, the cooperative provided support to help them through the crisis. The intent of presenting these cases, fisheries, agriculture, before you used to highlight that a large number of informal sector workers like Padmavati, Saroja, and Adirampatnam in Asia, in developing and underdeveloped world, are marginal farmers and vulnerable to sudden shocks, which we often push them into abject poverty, where even survival is difficult. Therefore, there is a need to organize farming. Second issue is that improved access to finance, not asking their husband's name, husband's land, etc. Not this patriarchal tendency. And the third issue is linking farm produce to markets. Small unorganized sector workers like them, vulnerable to imperfections, need that. Organized cooperatives like us can confront such imperfections effectively and efficiently, taking up the proactive role in achieving the global agenda of sustainable and resilient food systems by 2030. Starvation, hunger, especially female starvation, last to eat in the family, it's there all over Asia. Last but not least, organized farming will invite investments, promote diversification based on market requirements, and enable farmers to become stakeholders in global channels. Let me come nearing the conclusion, introduce our green warrior, because providing nutritious and affordable food, given all these situations, preserving diversity, another major challenge globally in the coming decade. ICNW societies care about their members, their community, and the environment. We respond to environmental degradation, which is very close to the hearts of policymakers in Taiwan and to the people of Taiwan, by conserving and managing accessible natural resources sustainably. Poor informal sectors are now transforming into green warriors, fight climate change by promoting organic manure, compost pits, soil preservation, waste management, practicing Ayurveda, the science of plants, particularly after the pandemic. And we are trying to start a new climate financing pipeline. It would be anguishing to you to know that amongst informal sector workers, who are the most disadvantaged group, we have found that the younger women we need to concentrate on, up to 25. They are late starters, zero inputs, skills, collaterals. The reason is that they face life cycle difficulties such as early marriage, poor skills, and continuous reproduction, very little education. Many poor young women entrepreneurs are 30, 35, but only a few under 30. Their spouses with little education or uneducated, often alcoholics with poor incomes. Many working women like to work independently, take care of family and business. Who are they? Let me name Shanmugapriya from Adirappatnam, Monisha from Chennai. The voices of these incredible women workers from the informal sector are now being heard at global high tables, and their achievements are being recognized by prestigious organizations as the UN Commission on Status of Women and the Commission on Social Development, and sisters and partners like the Donghua Credit Union in Taiwan, who have made an attempt to bridge this gap. We have become a regular presence at the major UN events over the last year that talks about the merit of the UNCSWV and the UNCSOD. They have given chance to merited people who don't speak English, people who are not able to present, people who not. But we have the software capacity. We are the Silicon Valley of India, South India, where we are there. We have 27 years of UN consultative status and making a mark on the world stage, 10 such points. With the promotion of inclusive cooperative models that integrate capacity building, education, skill training, and engagement of youth and women, we can realize true cooperative model goals and achieve what we are talking about, USD 5 trillion economy, while fulfilling commitments of the UN SDG targets. Don't you agree with me that our success stories motivate all stakeholders to make efforts to the next level? We have a well-developed vision based on the goals of ownership of governance by women that together ensure efficiency, inclusive, and quality services. This is not just an economic vision, but a vision for a better world where every citizen and every woman has the opportunity to realize their full potential, where every community can thrive. We are not changing lives, we are changing the world. Women are changing the world. These sort of networking organizations and also events are very important for the future, for us to share, for us to hold our hands, to learn. Where we are creating a future where every woman, regardless of her background or circumstances, has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. The reason is that young women face life cycle difficulties, and therefore we need to concentrate on them. They are the future. Cooperatives like us support. I love this picture. You have this old woman taking this bullock and taking charge of her life and the community. Now, this is what we have done, not more send her to an old age home. Their organizational capacities to respond effectively to our poor women members' needs. We have a well-developed vision and inclusive efficiency delivery. There is a need for an active involvement of science. And, our Prime Minister has also talked about it. Our germination and fertility culture from our customary religion gives a special place to women, for women-led development to become a reality. Shakti, the power of female energy. We must support our women's groups through strong cooperative mechanisms. India and Taiwan can unlock their potential in cooperative sectors when science, women, and cooperative efforts synergize. Let us work together for collective action. The fusion of the cooperative movement with the field of plant genetics science has the potential to catalyze a grassroots mass movement. This in turn can pave the way for widespread adoption of sustainable propositions. I would say with cohesive collaborations, we can empower our women and move towards gender equality. Empowerment training would be necessary. I would once again emphasize the power of collaboration between nations, organizations, and individuals in safeguarding our planet's precious biodiversity in the classroom. By working together across borders and boundaries, we can amplify our efforts to combat habitat loss, climate change, illegal wildlife trade, and threats to ecosystems. Taiwan, with its rich diversity and commitment to conservation, serves as an inspiring example of the positive impact of cooperative initiatives can have on preserving our natural heritage. Let us continue to foster the partnerships, share knowledge and learn, and mobilize resources to ensure it. And together we can make a meaningful difference in safeguarding the wonders of our planet. The world's prime concern is now climate change, and cooperatives should play a critical role. Global trends give us a headwind and demonstrate that how there are climate smart solutions, and why not led by women. By harnessing innovation and collaborative partnership through cooperatives, we can unlock the potential for inclusive, sustainable agriculture development in India, and I'm sure in Taiwan. India has taken several initiatives in vastness and diversity. We need to do more. I would like to mention a few, but I have to catch a plane. So I have to leave my Taiwanese sisters behind, who I have started loving so much in the last. We feel very emotional about that we are able to collaborate. I wish we can collaborate better. Climate smart
Would you
solutions.
be able to answer some questions?
That's fine. So why don't we go to the questions?
I would like to, how long you can take the questions
I can take the
before you
discussion
leave?
for another 15 minutes.
50 minutes?
One fine.
Okay. So we can have maybe 10 minutes question and answer session for Nana
Okay.
Azad.
Whatever you do.
Nana
Up to 15 minutes is okay for me.
Okay. So anyone want to ask question? We have one question from Slido, from Andre McFarlane from London, and she asks, "What is an example of the challenge and solution faced by women's cooperatives?"
See, the challenges faced by women's cooperatives like us is finance, of course. That's the first thing, because there's lines of members, waiting members, one. Second is the training. So we deal with very, very poor women. If you look at our own presentation, you can see the font size moving from 48 to 30. So you see, they are not technically sound, and we need to, they are very street smart. They're very good at money making. They are very good at improving their family. But we need to, for example, in digital literacy, we need to train them better, because any pandemics, typhoons, we get typhoons every day and floods. And the business just collapses, they have to start over again. So for example, the lack of access to resources, bigger resources. One is that we are giving them $500 US, but that itself is not enough. You unleash the power of women potential, and they can do better. They may need $2,000. It's not something that we can, do at this point. Second is climate finance. So climate finance is new. Our cooperatives don't know how to do climate finance. We know the work. The women are doing the work, topsoil and organic and compost pits, etc. But how do you do the climate financing? And how do you do the recovery? How do you do the measurement? How do you computerize it? Because you need to work on those details. So that is something that we are struggling with too. Three, of course, is a lot of agencies in India, in the government, are giving loans. The default rate is very high. Our default rate is not high. It's nearly 99% or 90% at least, I must say. So when you have so much of flooding of capital in the market, so then ours is very structured. Ours is, working through groups, through supervisors. We don't bring in other class women into this. We keep them in the peripheral, like trainers, etc., so that none of the default or intransparencies creep in. So that's a big challenge that the a lot of capital flowing into the market, which is good for informal sector women, but not default. We are very anti-default as much as possible. There are genuine default, rescheduling, etc. Even during COVID, our women never asked for a moratorium because we know we can work hard, we can pay for it, and we will reschedule it. But not this, sometimes the government gives a moratorium and says, don't pay up. Now, how will we run? Because we run not on external funds. We run on our own interest. So that is another challenge. The third challenge, of course, is patriarchy. My favorite topic. Everywhere, whether it is government policy, whether it is technical training or access to land, I can see Liu smiling because I'm saying that's my favorite topic. Even land. I mean, women, they don't have access to land. So we have made it compulsory that whenever they buy, they have to buy it on their name. Okay? Or if it's called, I can see the young man also shaking his hand, shaking his head because that is the thing. So we have many big major asset issues and of course education. So I feel that in Tamil Nadu, the south where we are operating, the educational system is much better. We are the Silicon Valley, we are a little bit more developed. Infrastructure is much better, but you see, those are the conditions, but not everywhere in India that's possible. So you go to the indigenous people's places. So those there, the literacy is so poor. There's no infrastructure. There are no banks. There are no cooperatives. So those are the challenges. So therefore, it's everyday challenges for us. Every minute challenges for us.
So there were two second question. How do we build better network to support each other in this place to enable women to be more successful?
First of all, you have taken a very big step. We should encourage Asia Pacific networking first, because here this patriarchy, I had an occasion to address the Taiwanese government international aid and the higher officials at COP28. The first thing I said is dismantle patriarchy in Asia and you'll all be all right. Because you see, this unnecessary burden is coming on us. We are efficient, we are inclusive, we are doing well. But everywhere, the whole question of men and women is there. And the whole question of the power equation at the household level is very bad, gender violence. And cooperatives should take up gender violence. They shouldn't act like male banks, because this is undermining the productivity of the woman. She comes home and gets into this. She makes the money over there and comes. So these are things that, and networking, you should start this, that you start with us and you start with others. You brought in the other 3 people from Hong Kong, etc. I think an internal network, your young people, you should try and set up a network within Asia for women and cooperatives. We have already set up the international cooperatives for international network for women and cooperatives. We set it up last year. Maybe we should also activate it a bit and get more, like from Sri Lanka, from South Asia, while you can get from East Asia. And then we all networked on specific issues of cooperatives and different types of cooperatives, credit cooperatives, fertilizer cooperatives, other things. Also, credit societies, how are they functioning? Land-based societies, how are they functioning? So I think that there's a need to share among our own continent first, because there's much to learn and much to be, we are challenged and we have many similarities.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
Somebody wants to ask a question.
No? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Azad, for giving us our valuable time and enlightening us with your knowledge. So we can go to catch our flight.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've just got 5 minutes to catch my flight, but this was very important to me when you asked me, because I'm used to people who have reached a certain level and then, not willing to go back to the grassroots. And I'm very angry with those people. Therefore, if I have 40 years of experience in this, if I can give back as much as I can in the next few years that we will live. I'll be very grateful. Thank you, Liu. We should do more networking, and I'll come back to you on that from the International Women, International Network for Women. I want to do a lot more in Asia first, because I think Asia needs a lot of that due to patriarchy. And namaste. Thank you. Wonderful to have been with all of you.
Namaste. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Azad. Our next speaker is Marian Hu from Hong Kong. It has been a couple of decades since Ms. Marian Hu became the executive director of Hong Kong Women Workers Association in 1998. Since then, she has witnessed the journey of association in supporting the rights of grassroots women. The Women Workers Cooperative of Chinese University of Hong Kong was established with the assistance of Women Workers Association, served as an exemplar of Hong Kong women's cooperatives. This cooperative organization has developed from the labor union advocating the labor rights of disadvantaged women. Let's welcome Ms. Marian Hu.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good evening and good morning to everyone. Yeah. Yes, quite excellent that we heard many the analysis and the experience from Doctor. And now I just share some experience of Hong Kong women workers experience in Hong Kong about the cooperatives. Now my computer, the webcam is not so good, so I share my. Let me share my PowerPoint. Okay. Is it this clear? Okay. Yeah, is it clear? Yeah. I just want to share about Hong Kong women workers, some co-op experience and then the situation in Hong Kong. I think everyone may know that Hong Kong is quite a well-developed city in the world. It's in the past we claim that we are quite the most or the first well-developed city, but now the situation is some changing, and maybe I very briefly introduce of our group that we were set up at 1989, and now it's 30 years, and we have to organize or to think to organize cooperatives from 1997. Is also a critical moment in Hong Kong, but we have many besides organizing cooperatives, we also helping the women to organize union, and then we have some community center for women groups. So we have various work to organize the grassroots. Our aims is to empower women to voice out, to solidarity, and to participate in advocates for better policy, to better life. This is our aims. And maybe I very brief to introduce the situation of the women in the working market. And I think it's quite common in many developed cities that the women usually is most in the informal worker in the informal sector, and then and the flexible work time, less labor law protection, and less privilege in less lower status in the society, and less unionized, and then the participation in the union not the rate is really low, and now in as a in the commercial world, that the subcontracting system it is led by the government and then extend to everywhere, no matter the private sector and also the public sector. that the subcontracting system privatize of all many jobs or business is quite common that in now, and then it will let the workers' situation become worse, and that's in Hong Kong. We still know working time and protection, and this is a trend. We always say that the working trend is not favor or not favor to the women, because women have to take care of the family and also have to go to work. So there's a pull and push. It's quite in a gap, and then it's quite stress and then facing the pressure. So usually the women, they will only can join the informal casual worker, and then those casual workers workload is heavy, and then their protection is low, and then let's see, okay, and this is the situation. But for us, we practice cooperative, but in some people will just think, oh, in Hong Kong, in the situation like this, and is it we have some the cooperative business, is it to create some jobs for the women? For us, it's not. We are not for these aims, but we for us to organize cooperatives is just as a women movement, a labor movement, and also a democratic movement. Maybe I very brief, very quick to share what we have practiced and try some business. Most of them, maybe some of them are in the catering. We have some mini shops for mainly in the university. First in the Chinese university, this co-op is already 20 years, and up to now is still continuous. And then another in the British University as a canteen, but it's already closed, and in the PolyU, and in a HKCT, and then this is Hong Kong U. And now another business is a production team. This we started 2010. We are several business production team, organized as a co-op method of, but they are quite small, not registered as a cooperatives. Because some is one's on the showing production, handicraft, and eco-friendly. They're making some eco-friendly products. For example, the kidney show, that kind of product, and the team of kidney service. And in Hong Kong, many NGO or many service group, they also help women to organize some business, but usually they're organized as a social enterprise and some commercial. So here we have a chart to compare in Hong Kong, a business city, how's the difference when we're organizing cooperatives or as a social enterprise or as a general commercial limited company. In Hong Kong, is if you're just a limited company, it's quite easy. You can be one person, or if you can, or at least 3 persons for a limited company. But if we set up a cooperative that at least 10, and some co-op is at least 15, but the registration is in a not in a department, but in a desk. That means in a department there's no section, but only a desk with 3 people that deal with many all the cooperatives. But others limited, they are registered in the company registry. You know, in Hong Kong, we are a commercial city. There means many benefit or many support or many schedule procedure is quite convenient to those commercial firms. So in Hong Kong, so if you are just register as a company to run a business, it's many easy or many convenience, and but if you want to register as a cooperative to run a business, it's not so easy. So this is also reflect that Hong Kong government not not encourage or support people to set up a cooperatives. But this few years, government is support or urging people to form social enterprise. Social enterprise, it means they are under some NGO, but the registration is as a commercial limited company. And more, we can compare. So as a cooperatives, even with the same register, that also has a limited by guarantee, but the profit that they are regulated in the shares that you must pay submitted share, but the share that but the profit we cannot just like other commercial company, you cannot I say commercial limited company that they can get the profit no matter how proportion, or they can take all, or how many people they are according to the share. But as a cooperatives, they can only share 15% of the profit. 15%. That means, and then others you should save in the co-op or to run the business or to do other service. You cannot share, and it's also quite limited that how to make decision, and but others registration there's no regulation. Even the principle of cooperatives we agree, and then we like and then we think to run a business by the principle of cooperatives. Somehow we use it as a organizing or develop the as a labor movement or as a democratic movement. But if we put the business run by the cooperatives or compare with those business run by company, then we found that the government then many restriction and many burden or many obstacles not encouraged or not that the business of the cooperative is so easy to run the business. And how I share for us, we are thinking the funds on why we formed the cooperatives. Maybe I share some story when because we also organize many unions, so we have many network and discussion with some union. When we form the cooperative, some union others they will criticize or they query that, oh, as a union, why we organize cooperatives? As if this is encourage worker to be businessmen, to be the boss, and they will ruin the labor movement, because every worker go to join the cooperative, become a businessman, then it seems is it the movement change let people that worker to be a business, not to be to empower the workers' right. This is when we heard this criticized, and then we'll think how to what's the thing that is it cooperatives just encourage workers to be a boss or to be a businessman, and then is it less the power of the workers movement? So this is one thing that we think how the organizing of the cooperative, how this organized to join the the workers movement, is it not including in the labor movement? So this is what we when this is we are thinking on the process of organizing. And also as a for women movement, we think because women, as we shared in the first platform, that women in the workers in the labor market, they are always become less wages, lower status compared with the male worker. But cooperatives is not only to not only to raise this situation, it's want to extend more opportunity for them to build their confidence. How it become a labor move, a women movement, to more confident to let them voice out also their rights, not only become a business women. So this is the process how when we organize a cooperative to run the business. This is already a challenge, but also we are thinking, is it this type of business run by cooperatives can be a women movement and also labor movement. This is in the past 20 years when we practice, we always thinking and then to organize in this trend or to be in this direction. So this already has shared that the cooperative what difference with the business. Okay. Or as women movement, that we our experience, we found that women can participate fully in the functioning and governance of the cooperative business. Then so in the corporate participation, they are on equal terms. It's quite different as Dr. shared in the society. Women cannot as the equal terms in participation in no matter in family, in the society, or in the company, or in many social participation or many decision process. So in the process to join the cooperatives or in the share they run the business or in the process, they are quite equal. Later we will share how we make it more equal or difference with those business. And then the cooperative participation, they can break down the isolation. Why we say the life is quite isolated, because women take care of the family, and then this is really a full-time job but no pay, and then they have to if they have any time, then they take part-time because they still need to help to solve the finance problem of their family. And in a cooperative, that means they have to many discussion and many participate in the decision, and then they build their company, and then they, as a co-op, that they also have deal with other relation with the society or the community or another business. So it also help them to break their isolation. In the past, they are just limited in their home. And the third is they can provide them some income. That when women have income, they can have more say to use the power or to decide what the money can use. And the second, as a workers' movement, we found that this it's really a alternative economy model. For us, that in the process of participate in the cooperatives, that the worker, they have to more get more, they have to participate more in the decision. They need to get more information, and then to learn more, to understand the business, and then to they can participate also in the division of work, and then so this can the how to say, it's a process that they have autonomy, and then they can make more decision, and then so for us as a union, we also have another union. As a union, the union fights for the labor protection or labor law, but inside the management, the management of a business that still have many exploitation, and then work hard, and then that workers no status, no rights to voice out or to change the managed system. But in a cooperative, they can practice, they can know, oh, this can be another method in the management. This can be another type of work value for the wages. So this is for us the democratic way, or the participation of the workers can be a training also for the workers to have how to manage or to have idea how to fight for their rights, or to change to the managing method in a business. And as a democratic movement, so because the cooperatives must the running the business, that they must have to many decision making process. They in the when I say the democratic movement or the decision making, that means they have to first they need to get more information. That means the information is open, and then they open discussion, and then in the process they lobby, and then voting, and then discussion, and then compromise, and then last they get the voting, and then the minorities can get in cooperatives, they can get more chance to voice out, different from the society, or easy to vote that the majority get all, but in a cooperatives the minority can have more voice to debate, or to voice out, or to, and then at last the people have open discussion and then voting. So workers in the cooperatives, that they with shares, and then that means the business run by themselves, owned by themselves, but they are not a boss. They're not a boss because cooperatives is the boss, and then but they can participate to this. They are one of them, and they have to all process they can participate. And why we reach why we just think, or for us with the aims of the in the process, or to organize the cooperatives that we are practice is just try to build up, or to practice that cooperatives business is an alternative practice. It's different with the capital market. It still can exist in even Hong Kong. Many global business or local business, and many kind of business capitalist system, but we still can have cooperative business. And then in this cooperative business, that the workers are the 7 principles of the cooperatives is three is on the focus on the management inside, but another is more focused on how their relation with others, how the relation with the society, how they concern the society, the community, the people, the out of the cooperative they work with or they live with. So this is the principle, and for us, this is the what our labor movement also want to promote, that they're more concern each other, and they work together, and to change the society for a better life. So in our practice for the cooperatives, that not only on the worker vote for and select the worker vote and select their management, one level, and then that means we'll also encourage people that in our society we can vote for the district councillor or the legislative councillor, but this is several years once, or 4 years, or when they become a legislative councillor, and then even they do nothing, but we still to wait for 4 years and then change. But but people cannot imagine in a business, the manager, we can vote, we can select, we can discuss what management we need, and then how they the ability, what we need. So if the people will afraid that they said this will lower the that the business cannot run, or many the meeting, or many discussion, and many selection or voting, but we found this is not the case. Workers participate more, then the business become more that because they feel their own, or the management that you elect, you vote. That means the legitimate of the management, or the decision, or the idea, or the opinion from the management, that they are more agree on, but they understand because that one that you vote for them. And yeah, besides the management or the cooperatives inside that they can practice more democratic way and more equal and from more gender equal way, or from the gender eye to set up the management. But also quite important, the cooperatives must have some social participation, join with others to have some advocacy. For example, once we use the system of the cooperatives, the wages calculation, and then advocates to participate in the panel of the legislative councillor, and then just tell them, under a cooperative, quite a small business, even our wages calculated in this way, because at that time we're promoting the living wage, not the minimum wage. And then we say, even in our business, that we calculate our wages by a living wage method, but we still can survive. Sorry, the business still can sustain. This is also why this is our practice, why we keep on organize cooperatives as a social women movement and labor movement, because people in the past, they will say, oh, you are union, of course you will say or you argue or fight for better labor protection. But people will say, oh, if or everyone or every company follow what labor groups fight for, then they bankrupt because they cannot survive. So when we run the business by a cooperative principle, so we will prove that they will say we use the principle that the business still can survive. For example, Hong Kong now have minimum wage, but we use them, but we advocate for the living wage. So we use the living wage method to calculate the cooperative wages, but they still can. Then this is our way to prove that cooperative also a labor movement, and so also women inside they can sustain the night, they can run the business, and then and also this is proof that workers' rights in the society can improve the living, not only just for themselves. So it also support the neighbor movement to that they found cooperative a business. They are more confident to voice out that what we fight for the workers' better situation, better protection, then it can survive, and then it can sustain all its reality. And this is another network. We try some network, for example, No Change, the global network cooperative, but mainly also in cooperatives in 5 places. And this is another some principle why for us to want to share the cooperative and the society, how we work with the recovery that social and then the social enterprise, and then the enterprise. So this is one of some analysis. I think we can skip it, and then this is a relation with each other. I not pay much attention on this content, I think everyone know. And this is the 7th principle. And this is this is for us to encourage our workers that cooperatives, not only Hong Kong, we are quite small, not so many practice because it's quite difficult. We used to tell them, but in the end, there's this every year, the first Saturday in July is the cooperative day, and then this is quite let them have some sense that I forgot the content even that's that people know that in Hong Kong. That's what I quickly share. Maybe I left more time for Q&A and then maybe other opinion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Hu. I really like different register way in Hong Kong, like cooperative and social enterprise and commercial limited company. The difference, like the law and the structures in there. Yeah, and so we will have the Q&A session with Taiwanese speakers, so we can keep our question first, and let's welcome our last speaker from Taiwan, Ms. Yihua Chen. Yihua Chen traveled to Great Britain through the crowdfunding to interview 29 cooperatives and organizations there, and authored a book. Wow, this is also the cooperative. 哇，这也是合作社。After returning to Taiwan, she visited cooperatives across the country and frequently reported cooperative cases in media. She is an independent journalist and cooperative researcher, focusing on the development and promotion of cooperatives in Taiwan. And she has a deep understanding of cooperative movement in Taiwan, as well as practical experience in this field. So let's welcome Ms. Yihua Chen.
Hello. Hello. This it's a great honor to participate in this forum, and thanks for having me and my partner. She sits in front of me. Then I am going to share what I have. This because Guan Yu told me the subject here is cooperative and female. So first, I have give you a little bit introduce about myself and my partner. Just now, Guan Yu mentioned we traveled to Britain and published a book. From these past 10 years, we traveled to different countries, and also we met Mei Lian in 2019. It's a very exciting and very good experience for us to meet Mei Lian, and we have very good conversation, and we know each other about the system between Taiwan and Hong Kong. And 2010, we traveled to Britain. This is the first time for us to fly to Britain, and this is also the first time for us to visit Rochdale. It's a kind of the birthplace for the cooperative, especially for the consumers co-op. Then 2016 is the second time for us to visit there, and that's why we have that book. Then I jumped to 2022. I got another fund and traveled to Deutschland. Then it's a really good experience for us to have these two countries, and because these two countries, the systems are different, and usually when we talk about the consumers co-op, we'll think about the situation in the UK. But when we talk about the cooperative law and credit union, we'll think back the High Bison, the Dr. Azit mentioned, and also the cooperative law in Germany, and is exactly the same as in Taiwan, the cooperative at this moment. So this a short background about me and my partner Yuling. Then today I'm going to share 3.5 case studies and what did we interview and collect the case study in Taiwan. The first two, one is in Taichung, middle of Taiwan, and the second one is in south in Kaohsiung. Why did I choose these two case studies? Because these two have very similar background and this settings, and that's why they have the co-op at that moment. And about the Taichung one, I give it a short name. It's called Shigang, and it's make all the members in that co-op are female. 1999, there's a devastating disaster for the Taiwanese people know, and we also, because that day is 21st of September, so Taiwanese people will call them as 9/2 earthquake. And I Google it, and in Wikipedia it's also called Jiji earthquake. So whatever, it's the same things, and it's a tragedy for Taiwan. And at that time, it's almost nearly 2,050 people death in that earthquake. Then this cooperative was just halfway to the central, and it's called Shigang and a little town. Then why did they choose co-op to stand up by themselves? Is I'm going to share. Then these two, one is in Taichung, another one is in Kaohsiung. I'm going to use 3 points to share what we have and what we did interview and what did we collect at that time with them. The first one is, why did they choose co-op to stand up? Then the second one is, how did they run their internal governance? And the third part is, how did they involve in the community and link with local? I could say in that way. Based on my interview and my observation, these the co-op in Taichung, this one, it's in total their members so far is like 10, and they are elder lady is like a 60 something. So track back to like 20 years ago, they are all middle aged. At that moment, what did they need, and why did they need a co-op? At that time, because of that disaster, that earthquake, they lose their home, they lose their job, and they lose everything at that time. So the first step is from the government. The government, local government and the central government support it. Then we have the key person, the lady called Lu Yumei. Now she's like a grandmom's age, 60 something. She's a key lady and key person. She shared what she did at the time with us. She said the people, when she did the how to say that, did the research, kind of research, to ask the lady just in their neighborhood and in the community, what did you need? And everyone said, I need a job and I need something to support my daily life. So the local lady there, they all well known how to cook, and they all good for the handmade craft. Then after a long discussion, they found if we sell the snacks like that, they can get money every day. But if they did the handmade craft, it takes time to sell one, maybe like 1 month or 2 months, just sell a bag or a craft or art. So the ladies like her, they asked the fund from the government. So they run their business to sell the Taiwanese snacks. And they run the like feast, 10 dishes on the dining table and like that. You can pre-order from them. So that's the first things they try to stand up by themselves. Then during the training course from the government, the Mrs. Lu said, when the ladies or not only ladies, the guys there, when they have the course, not only for learning skill, they also release their mental health, because they got a high pressure after the earthquake. Then they also need time to wait for the military to rebuild up their home. So it's what they have during that period. Then after like almost 2 years or 3 years, they run really well. Then when they run really, really well for that co-op, and they try to do they got the profit. So they try to share the profit with the school for those students who don't have enough money to pay their lunch fee, like that. Then after like 5 years, because they know everybody in that community, in that town. So when they stand up and step by step, so the local government asked them, would you mind to entrust the like a care center for the elder people? Then the ladies say, yes, it's really good for us to support where we live. Then the lady Liu Yumei share a story for us. One day, an elder guy, he was missing on the road and riding on his disabled scooter. Then he cannot find a route back home. Then one policeman found him. Then the policeman don't know that guy, of course. So she took the guy and searching the route back. The guy he found, the policeman asked him, could you tell me who I can take this guy back home, or who can guide me or direct me? Then the guy, when he randomly meet on the road, just told, oh, maybe you can ask a lady in that restaurant. They know everyone. Finally, they sent the missing elder guy back home. So I could say they got really deep involved with the local company and that area. Until now, they are not only selling food, they also do the training course from them. They are like master now, and also share what they know, what they can cook with the younger generation, and try to hand over to them. So this is the first case study I would like to. Oh, sorry, I forgot one thing. I met Miss Du maybe 7 or 6 years ago in a conference in Taichung, which is held by the town hall. This the same situation. I'm sharing the case study what I have, and Liu Yumei just told me, "Oh, what you talk is what we did," and especially for one member, one vote. Then I would like to share what she told me. Usually, when we set a cooperative in Taiwan, all members have to hand in a share amount. You can discuss by your members. But at the very beginning, Liu Yumei, when she discussed with her members, they don't have idea about what co-op is. So they do the fundraising, and for what? For open the shop. That's the food shop just now I mentioned. Then after certain years, 2 or 3 years, when they stand up and they make the balance, now then they return the old share back to the members. And now for them, the co-op is belong to everyone, and it's a kind of a public welfare. It's not belong to someone or just members like that. So it's quite interesting for me to hear what she said. Liu Yumei also mentioned what did she learn? How did she learn about the idea of cooperatives? Is from the course from the government. Then they also share what how can I say? They also share their skills. Someone responsible for the business running, and someone run for the marketing, and someone work for the paperwork, like that. So it's like a multiple tasks for this co-op, and also for like a middle. At the beginning, it's like a middle-aged woman, and also maybe in the beginning they are like a full-time mom. Then after that is a kind of a career woman after built up by the co-op, I could say in that way. So this is the first case study I would like to share. And the second one is also start from another disaster in Taiwan. It's 2009, and that year we have a typhoon called Morak. Maybe the pronunciation is wrong. Then because of that typhoon is we got a very serious destroyed in south of Taiwan. It's even a town just got it's gone. How to say that? It's got a really heavy storm and just mud flu. Sorry, there's mud flu, and the village is just gone. So lots of people have to move and move from to the land area. Then this co-op is set and run in a village called Shanling. Then the majority of people, the population there, is not live in there. They move from the higher area in Kaohsiung. Then, so I won't say too much about that. Then, for me, it's quite interesting to know the story about them. They run their business more than 10 years ago. Then how did they start? They start from the support from the government, again, similar as the Shigang. Then these co-op, they have the cute name called Sunny Shanling Bubao. So the town's name is Shanling, but they give the nickname about their cooperative called Sunny. It's quite bright and interesting. Then this co-op is set up by the government, I could say in that way. And after like 9 years, they found because we got the fund from the government every year, so we rely on government too much. Someday, if government just stop give us the fund, then can we survive? They are trying to think about that. So 2018 to 2019, they have two young generation joining this co-op, and they try to lead the discussion about this topic. So they made the decision is we don't want to apply any fund from government from 2019. Then why and how can they have the encouragement like that? And then because the guy and another lady told me 2018, they got the first order. And the first order is they have to produce more than 5,000 various bags to submit to a factory, a client. Then they made it. So they got confident. So maybe we can earn enough money to balance our finance. So that's why they 2019 they made that decision, but they took a long time to discuss about that. Then also at the very beginning, because of the fund and like friendship, so the members of this co-op is like 21. Then they also try to discuss during that time, 2019. So they do the members check. So they reduce the member from 21 to 10, because some of them is just because of friendship, because of support. Then they join in, but they are not real work in that co-op. So after the long discussion and confirmation, so the 10 members are real workers in that co-op so far. Then also in 2019, they also discussed one thing. At the beginning, the share in that co-op is 100 NT. It's not a big amount. So it's easy for everyone to take 100 NT from your wallet. Then they try to discuss how much amount for the share. It will be a kind of a promise between you and the co-op. So they increase the share to 10,000. So now the members there, they are like real workers, real owners, and real member in that co-op. Then they try to do another things, and because of that, the first order is because of that order, they make sure now they are a professional OEM factory. OEM is, you can understanding, is like a SMC, STSMC, like that. And now during 2019, they have a long-term working partner. It's a quite famous brand in Taiwan called In Bloom, and then also have co-work with bedding brand in Taiwan now so far. And in this case study, for me, they know they have to stand up by themselves, and they cannot rely on the fund from the government forever. Then, but in that case, no manager, no boss make decision, say, oh, just start from next year, we don't want to apply, or we don't from the money from outsider. They take a long time to discuss with the members, and the members, the age is similar than the first case study, like a 50 or 60 ages ladies. So it's quite interesting for me to know when they try to support each other to stand up and try to let people express their opinion and speak out. It takes time, but they made it. So these two is what I'm going to share as after the disaster. Then this one, I just have a quick introduction. This is another co-op, and it's also in Kaohsiung, but it's quite young. And the big difference between with the other two is they are not support from the government. They support from the MPO called the Mustard Seeds Mission. And the members in this co-op, majority are immigrants, and mainly from China, Vietnam, and a bit from local here, Taiwan. Then so far I cannot say they independent from their MPO, because the MPO still support them for financial and paperwork something. But this is another case study for me, and from the MPO, they try. Why did they choose a cooperative for the way to empower ladies or females to stand up? It's another interesting issue for me. And same as the Dr. Aziz said, for you need money to be independent, and what the MPO, the Mustard Seeds Mission, did. So they do believe cooperative is a kind of way. So that's why they have a similar situation like Mei Lian mentioned in Hong Kong. It's difficult for them to get a job, or the salary is maybe it's not that good, and they don't have they need a flexible time. So this is what they try to run and support the immigration females in this co-op. So I have a really quick sum up for these three case study. And a cooperative is based on the need of the members. This is the first things I would like to mention. And the second one is good internal governance. It will be a very important way to strengthen cooperative itself. Then, if possible, link with the local and community. It will be stronger yourself. But the last one, the immigration, maybe it won't be the good example. But because Kaohsiung is a big urban area, but they strengthen their local communities, like an immigration community. Maybe it's another way to think. And the last point, 0.5 is I'm a member of this co-op at UCC, and it's totally different from these three. And the very quick to share as they start from food safety issue. Then the ladies, the same background is all ladies, and especially they are many of them are mom, to gathering together and to organize the consumers co-op to buy something good for the earth at the moment. And last year is 30 anniversary. So this co-op is I cannot say it's the biggest, but it's quite big in Taiwan, and they set up in 2001. And if you are interested in this co-op, you can Google it. They got lots of stories about it online. The most important things I would like to share is what I got from this co-op is education, and all idea and all background about the cooperatives of the beginning of myself is from this co-op. So it's a very important slogan, and also it's very important idea of a co-op is education and education and education. Maybe will be that kind of example. Then that's all. That's what I share
Thank
today.
you, Yihua.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for your case sharing. It was really like vivid and inspirable. And anyone want to ask speakers from Hong Kong and Taiwan? Is there anyone? Met up?
Hi, I'm Else. I really want to react to the speakers from Hong Kong and Taiwan. It's really impressive to see the Taiwanese representative cooperate with the farmers, the local female farmers in Taiwan, which is really important to provide the healthy food for us. And also the Hong Kong speakers provide the cooperation experience with the university, and also there is a really interesting issues. It's about the food, which I really interested in. So maybe in the future, if I have the chance, I would like to visit your cooperation place in the future. So thank you all of you, and also the India's speakers is also excellent. So thank you, Fish Can, and thank you for the speakers.
Thank you. I am the one and the Donghua Campus Union. It's credit union. It's the one organizing this event. And to respond the Sunitha C-card. And this event is online meeting, so there's no physical meeting. Yeah. Lucy has some question. Lucy?
Yes,
There's
I
a
see the
question.
question about Hong Kong. The situation is it influence the union? I think the Hong Kong is changing, and it's open that the national law is discussing, and then it's passed this few days. So honest that the influence is for all Hong Kong people, not only for union. But and I think I understand that you want to know the space to voice out for the union and the NGO. I would say that is yeah the that's limited. It's limited, and or for us we are union and also from NGO. So we that the red line or the limited we are not clear. We many things or many restriction or is will be rare or anything or something that we in the past we are doing, and in the future is it not cannot do, and now we are not sure. We say that the red line is everywhere, but it seems you can you get it law, or you can yeah prepare to restrict your action. So we don't know, but we'll but average that we need to think before action. Yeah, but for us, we will still keep on using the rights that we think we should have. For example, the last month, the March 8th, we cannot have big rally, but we still organize a small demonstration outside the government house. Yeah, we try
Hello.
to keep this. Yeah.
Hello, it's
Lucy,
Lucy.
please.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you very much for that presentation. It's such an amazing um, um, uh, kind of example, because I am the founder of Black Female Entrepreneur Clinic. We are a group of African women based in UK that have actually come together to support each other to start up our own business and be financially independent. But we've been having a lot of challenges in terms of moving it to become a more profitable organization. We do get support from the government, but I'm just looking at the one that you talk about. They've actually reduced their number to 10, whereby they now start working actively, getting the members to do the job. Because can you put more light on that? Because I'm thinking of actually going on that route, because at the moment, we have over 90 members, but it is that it's quite challenging pulling everyone together. And I think if we go through the route of just reducing the members and getting everyone to be part of it, I would like you to put more light on that cooperative that actually reduced their number to 10, and what model did they use to actually run it and become successful?
Which speaker would you want her to answer?
The speaker that did the presentation, I showed the example of different cooperative.
Maybe we can ask Madam Hu to answer.
I think it's you. Is it you that did that presentation? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Yi Jian and I because Yi Jian also know many cooperative experience, and then she wrote the book. But I also can share the situation in Hong Kong. But I try to catch what you want to know. In Hong Kong, that why we talk about in order to run a business, especially as a cooperative business, we start in is quite small, and you know if it's and also in under the cooperative regulation that all members they must participate in the work. You can imagine if a small business that at least 10 people participate, and then they all get the um, get a job inside, and then can get the can share the profit and can share the income. That means this is it for us. If we start a small business, it's quite difficult. And yeah, this is but the but some businesses still can can get more people, but the number just here I this out is to compare that in Hong Kong, the government encourage people to run business in a limited company registration that 3 people is encouraging. I just want to compare to why to list out that to run a business, anyone or any registration fees okay. But if you want to be a cooperative, at least 10 or 15, that I will show that out from the government policy, their law, or they want to know down the motivation of people to form the cooperatives. yeah, I don't know whether I answer your question. Yeah, maybe Ethan can add some more point because you know many.
The question is about the law in Taiwan or in, I don't quite understand the question. Is it about the law or the environment to support people to organize a co-op?
I think
Am
my
I-
question is about how you start it up. Because like I said, we are a group of women. We're about 90. We are all makers. We make items, we provide services, but it's quite challenging. And sometimes we get funding from the government. But we know sometimes the way things are going, our government will start cutting down their fund. We want to make it more profit viable, whereby we can turn it into a cooperative. But I'm looking into the area of reducing the number so that we can start small, then we can grow. I know you make an example of one of the cooperative that's actually started, that reduced their number and started small. I want to know what model of cooperative did they use to start that?
Are you in the UK?
Yes, I'm in the UK.
You're lucky you are in the UK because the UK is a very, how can I say, it's a really good place for a cooperative burst. So if you are interested, maybe you can Google Cooperative UK. This it's a cooperative it's a cooperative and also an association in Manchester. Then you can get the information how to set up a co-op. And they got the consultants in all around the UK to support you. And to be honest, you are lucky because compare the environment and situation in Taiwan, sometimes we cannot find the correct person to consult, or sometimes we have got a very tough situation to deal with, and sometimes it's even difficult to have a bank account. So then if you are interested, you also can consultant, and I do recommend to consultant a lady in Belfast in North Ireland, and the cooperative's name is called Belfast Cleaning Society. They support quite a lot cooperatives, especially the members are women, to organize in co-op. But maybe first you can consult in Cooperative UK in Manchester.
Oh, thank you about that, because we are all our members are all migrants. Women that came from Africa. Majority of them were trafficked to UK, and then we decided to set up something to support us and to actually create a job opportunity for us so that we can be around our children at the same time earn money.
Okay, so maybe Belfast Cleaning Society is another consultant place and the lady to connect with them, and the Cooperative UK can support you.
All right.
Hope it
Thank
works.
you.
No
Thank you.
problem. Mm.
Yeah, I know, I just know that UK is quite lucky. Yeah,
Yeah,
if in Taiwan or in Hong Kong, we cannot get any funding or any support.
yeah, this is true. And in Hong Kong, it's much more harder than us. We only need 7. You need 10 members. Yes.
Okay, so before we wrap it up, maybe we can open the mic and we can take a screenshot as a memory. Welcome, invite everyone to open your camera.
Okay.
Only few people open. Okay. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you.
thank you all for all the speaker for giving us their valuable time and answer all the questions patiently. And thank all the participants for joining us. And I will send the feedback form to all of you, and to you can, because it's anonymous. So please feel free to write your real thoughts. And I would like to thank you all the listeners who joined us today. And thank you for your participation. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night.
Bye.